Follow me on a new trip on Eastern Canada, traveling from Toronto via Montreal, Grand Falls, Halifax, Moncton, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, 1000 Islands, and back to Toronto. This was an amazing trip taken last year in September 2023, and not having time until now to update anything here. However, I would highly recommend for you to visit all these locations. And here we are, starting in Montreal. I have forgotten to take many videos. I'm not sure what I have done with them. I might have thrown them away by mistake, but I highly recommend for you to go to Montreal, where from we have got these amazing views, which is right near McGill University, so you have to go very on a steep hill up the top of the hill. Also, I highly recommend for you to visit Chinatown, Notre Dame, which has got an entrance of $15 and is located in the Old Town. The whole Old Town is amazing. Lots of things to see there. Now let's move fast, passing via Grand Falls in New Brunswick, right near the USA border, in order to reach Halifax. So in Halifax, we started with the Maritime Museum, where you find Titanic relics and so much more. Lots of information about the Titanic and lots of information about the town, the explosion they took place at the beginning of the 20th century, and so 1900s, which decimated the city, and how important it is to follow certain rules. So explosions like this, situations like this, dictated the path taken on so many levels, not only on maritime level but on the ground. So lots of health and safety we owe, and started almost 100 years ago, if not more. Also, we visited the Halifax Citadel, which is very interesting, and I highly recommend for you to visit. There are lots of reenactments there done by volunteers who would have thought dressed in the attire of hundreds of years ago. And there is a very, very interesting museum with lots of information from the First and Second World War and the Canadian participation in these two wars. Right, so the Citadel is very, very interesting, not only because it has got great views over Halifax, as you can see from here, but because you can visit everything there is to see here. There are lots more to visit. However, we have arrived in Halifax right after a big storm. I think it was Storm Lee, so it was a terrible night we had, being on the top floor of this hotel. If you want to check reviews relating to hotels, restaurants, museums, and anything there is to see, things to do, you can check under Terravelista, like Terra and Velista, on TripAdvisor, and you are going to find there more links for all my videos around the planet. I really enjoy writing reviews and advising others, just the way I enjoy reading other people's reviews and being advised on what to do. Now, we are at Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick, and again, this is an amazing location in New Brunswick. We sat here traveling from Moncton. So Moncton was our base in an amazing hotel. Again, you find all the information on TripAdvisor, Terravelista, and on Google reviews. And I highly recommend for you to visit the Hopewell Rocks. There is an entry fee, of course. And from Moncton, we also traveled to nearby Parley Beach Provincial Park, both located on, well, not far from Moncton in New Brunswick. Moncton is also the location where there is a magnetic hill. So there is a strange sensation there of defying law of physics, as you are going to see later on. And Moncton itself is not much to see, just like Grand Falls. I remember in Grand Falls we arrived around 6 o'clock in the afternoon and everything was closed. I think there was only 1 or 2 supermarkets open, rest everything it was closed. And I thought, blimey, this is September, it's not even the end of the season. In Greece, many islands will be heaving with tourists. Grand Falls was just asleep, and Moncton is not far, however, has got some interesting restaurants. We ate an amazing Japanese restaurant right on the main street, not far from the Keg. We also ate at the Keg, and that hotel we stayed at was simply amazing, with an amazing receptionist. All the information in my reviews. So still at Hopewell Rocks, just amazing, and now at the Moncton Magnetic Hill in New Brunswick. So this is the strange sensation that you are defying the laws of physics. Parley Beach in New Brunswick is an amazing beach, apparently in summertime. However, in September, remnant of the storm, it was like this. So it's still a very beautiful beach, and apparently in summertime is heaving with people, which normally we try avoiding. We are looking for very quiet beaches wherever we travel. And the next step was Prince Edward Island. Why? Because it's very, very picturesque. Truthfully speaking, our whole trip was very, very picturesque, and we really enjoyed the drive all the way from Toronto to Prince Edward Island and back to Toronto, so several thousands of kilometers. So New Cavendish Beach in Prince Edward Island is again very, very beautiful. Most of the restaurants were closed or closing beginning of October apparently, so we still found some amazing restaurants open, and there are lots of attractions there for families and children. However, they were closed now. However, we were happy with just visiting everything quiet and beautiful. I remember a butterfly was not far from me, and I saved that butterfly from the beach and I brought it towards the grass, and what he did, he put on my fingers. Right, now we are crossing Confederation Bridge, so we crossed it from New Brunswick to Prince Edward Island, and returning back to New Brunswick we paid the amount of $50-something Canadian dollars, so it's pretty expensive. I think it's one of the most expensive bridges I ever came across. It's 13 kilometers long, and it was built only a few decades ago, I think, and that is why the fee is so high. An amazing bridge nevertheless, beautiful views, simply gorgeous, and the drive from the bridge to Prince Edward Island, which I haven't mentioned earlier on, was very, very picturesque, driving through the back roads, so it's very, very countryside there. Amazing though. This village is Notre Dame du Portage, or du Portage. This is right on St. Lawrence River. This is a river which decades ago, 50, 60, 70 years ago, used to bring people from Europe, from the UK, settling in Canada. And nowadays, of course, everybody comes by plane. They don't want to cross the Atlantic for 2 or 3 weeks on St. Lawrence River, going further inland in Canada. So you could have traveled all the way to Kingston, I think. Next we visit Quebec City, which truthfully speaking is probably one of the most beautiful and most romantic places in North America. Why? Because it has a combination of French and British interests, and is simply beautiful. You think that you are somewhere in Europe. You could say that you are in France or in the UK, or even in some places of Italy or Spain. Simply gorgeous. Most surely I would like to come back in the future to this location. There is the Old Town, and in the Old Town there is the Upper Town and the Lower Town. So we are now in the Upper Town, looking towards the Lower Town and towards St. Lawrence River. The Lower Town is you can walk down there using stairs or using a funicular, which is $5 per person one way. So this is what we chose. You are going to see this right from the Lower Town to the Upper Town. Lower Town itself is very, very beautiful, and we also visited Notre Dame, and this Notre Dame Cathedral, built of course inspired by the one in Paris in France, just like the one in Montreal. The difference between this one and the one in Montreal is that at this location in Quebec City you don't pay anything, whereas in Montreal the entrance for Notre Dame Cathedral is 15 Canadian dollars. So there you have it. This is a truly beautiful cathedral. There are lots of churches and cathedrals in this part of the town. This is the Lower Town, and this is the funicular going up and down between these two parts of the Old Town. So clearly from here the town expanded further west, and we chose to stay a bit further away, driving to a car park nearby and just walking everywhere and enjoying the views. There is also there are lots of things to see in this part of the town, and I highly recommend. This video ends with a visit once again to 1000 Islands. It's not the first time I'm seeing we visited the 1000 Islands. I really like this part of Canada. Between Canada and United States is simply gorgeous. If you like visiting this kind of locations, and that people residing on the islands, they own an island, so they have got boats, and in winter time it's pretty difficult. Most of them, they go back to their houses in Toronto or further afield, and very few reside here in winter time because it's very, very cold. So this is not a small place. There are 1000 islands plus. Well, as ever, I hope this was of interest to you, inspired you in visiting this amazing part of the world. Thank you for watching.